Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the channel World of Wrestling, here today to discuss about Impact Wrestling from September 2nd, 2021 episode. This was actually an okay episode, not too bad. It wasn't terrible. It was decent. It had some good stuff here and there. Some other stuff I didn't particularly care for. I was actually watching this while I was working at home today. I didn't have to make any phone calls, thankfully, so I was able to watch the show and do my work at the same time, so it wouldn't affect my job that actually pays me. This being my hobby, so I do this for free, guys. So I don't get paid by the hour. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you guys my overall insight on this episode. It wasn't a terrible show whatsoever. It was a pretty decent one, but not the greatest in the world. But it's definitely an improvement compared to what I have seen in the last couple of weeks. I understand that the last couple of weeks I have not been doing reviews on Impact Wrestling because of certain things going on with the scheduling with the pay-per-view with SummerSlam. Then came the show with All Out, so there was just some things that kind of interfered with the schedule. But we are now back into the swing of things. We are going to do things the way we've been doing it. Retro reviews on Mondays, Impact Wrestling on Tuesdays, and Dynamite and Rampage on Wednesday and Friday. And then also, if I have the time, I'll do a SmackDown review every weekend. So I will try to do my best to fill in the SmackDown review as best as I possibly can. But if I can't, oh well, who cares? SmackDown is not that big of a deal. Roman Reigns ain't a big deal anymore to me. To be quite frank with you, I do not give a shit about WWE programming whatsoever. So let's get into it. The first match that kickstarted the show was Rachel Erling, Jordynne Grace, and Taylor Wilde versus Caleb with a K, Tenille Dashwood, and Madison Rayne. Erling, Grace, and Wilde win this match. The finish comes when Wilde German suplexes Caleb with a K for a 1-2-3, so he loses to Taylor Wilde. Wow, he's a really important aspect on this show. Big fucking deal. Alright. We then get match number 2, which is Black Taurus and Crazy Steve from Decay going up against Falaba and No Way Jose. The winners of this match was Crazy Steve and Black Taurus. Didn't particularly care for this match either. The match ends with Steve gets the better of Ba and gets the surprising W with a leaping DDT off the top rope, and that's how this match ends. So nothing special took place here. We then have a segment with W. Morsley. Thinks that Sammy has some guff hitting him with the baseball bat, but he respects the fact that openly don't like that they don't like each other, both Sammy and Eddie Edwards. Moose enters to say they both have issues with Sammy Callahan and Eddie Edwards, and he's not looking for friendship, he's just looking for an alliance. Steve Maclin actually cuts a promo with his own vignette saying Petey Williams calls himself the Canadian Destroyer, but he doesn't know anything about destruction. Next week, it's Maclin versus Petey Williams. Nothing special there. They've been doing this for like the last month or so. They were even doing this before I stopped watching Impact for a little bit because of the schedule change. So, I don't consider this at all to be important or even remotely entertaining at all. It seems pretty boring to me. I don't like this guy Maclin. I don't think much of him. We then have Moose. He comes out. He's trying to cut a promo, and then he calls out Eddie Edwards, who slides in with a kendo stick. Things get unravel quickly as Eddie tackles him before giving him a shot in the gut. Sure enough, W. Morsley comes in, and both men gang up on Edwards. They eventually hit an assisted powerbomb on Eddie Edwards, and that's how that segment ends. We then get to Gia Miller asks Fallah Ball and No Way if they knew about Tasha Steelz and Savannah. Actually, that actually took place just before the match started in the beginning of the show. In the beginning of the Black Taurus and Stevie, Crazy Steve, and they stated that the two say they had no part in that. TJP enters and he patches it up with Fallah Bahh and No Way Jose. Next week, TJP wants to head to Swingers Palace next week. He's got a sure thing bet. I don't particularly give a flying fuck about this. This is pointless shit. After the break, we get back with Violent by Design says that the disease is back in Rhino and they must break him down again. He's shown being chained to a pole in some sort of prison basement. Pretty fucking awkward shit. Josh Alexander comes out for his open challenge and who returns but Jake Crist. Yeah, Josh Alexander actually defended his X Division Championship belt against Jake Crist. This match was fantastic. An excellent match. I love the work they did here together. They worked very well. Josh Alexander, though, connected with a C4 spike pile driver, and that's how the match ends with a 1-2-3. Gia gets a post-match interview. Alexander says he has been in the conversation of the greatest X Division champion before it's all said and done. That brings out Chris Sabin, and he praises Josh Alexander that he's one of the greatest wrestlers he's ever seen, but he's only a one-time X Division champion. Sabin goes on to say that he's an 8-time X Division champion, and he would like to be able to prove to himself that he's the greatest X Division champion of all time by becoming the 9th time world champion, which is the most any X Division wrestler has ever received, and issued the challenge at Victory Road, which takes place on September 18th. I will try to cover that pay-per-view either on the 18th or Sunday the 19th, so keep an eye out for that. The situation with the September 12th Ring of Honor show, Death by Dishonor, I may cover that. I may end up doing that on a Monday or something like that. I'm not sure yet, but I will definitely catch it at some point during that week. So keep an eye out for that if you guys are at all interested in Ring of Honor wrestling. I don't really cover their weekly shows because I just have too much content I'm covering for you guys. So I just figure I would cover the major events and what have you. So, just keep an eye out for that if you're interested in Ring of Honor content. So we see some geeks doing auditions for Brian Myers' tryouts. This was actually very funny. Very funny as fuck. I really enjoyed this a lot. I don't know why. I guess it's a guilty pleasure I got out of this. This was very funny. He kept cutting people from the group, basically like as if it was a parody for Tough Enough, and it was just downright hilarious. I absolutely enjoyed all of this. This was very fun. Speaking of parodies, I'm going to be doing at some point, either later on this weekend or next week, I will be doing an actual parody sit-down interview with Vince McMahon himself. So you guys can catch that and take a look at that. I think you guys will enjoy it. I've had a lot of people come on here and tell me they enjoy my parodies and rants. So I haven't done any of that for a while. I've been trying to stay away from the negativity and all the BS that goes on in WWE because it's just downright depressing and I don't like it. But I do like coming on here, crapping all over them because they definitely deserve it, and I know you guys enjoy it as well. So I will definitely do that at some point, doing that parody video with Vince McMahon and myself pretending I'm interviewing Vince McMahon in a parody video in audio format. So keep an eye out for that, guys. But yeah, there was a little bit of a parody here with Tough Enough type elements to it. They had a lot of gimmicky, weirded out characters backstage that Brian Myers was just cutting. and it was just downright freaking hilarious and really off the walls. It was stupid as fuck. Anyway, let's move on. We got match number 4 with Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona against Rohit Raju and Shera. This was actually an entertaining match as well. And Chelsea Green being in the middle of the ring with a bunch of men, especially a guy like Shera, who's a very muscular dude. He's got a very nice physique. He looks like he's a legit bodybuilder and doesn't look like he needs steroids or anything like that. I don't know if I'm right about that or not, but he definitely has a very nice physique. Very strong dude. Guy I wouldn't want to screw with, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, at the end of the day, Chelsea Green gets hit in the head by a running knee by Rohit Raju and gets the 1-2-3, unfortunately. So it seems like Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona are going in a downward spiral with these losses. They seem like they were moving upwards in Impact Wrestling, but unfortunately that was not the case because they've been on a losing streak from the last time I've seen them wrestle and everything. So I don't know. Maybe they had some wins in the last 2 weeks because I know I missed 2 episodes that I should have covered, but I just didn't have the time to do it. We also see Kimber Lee and Su Yung backstage doing a vignette type video. Lee says sometimes they take souls and sometimes they convert. They see Brandy Lauren in the same chilling look as Young and Lee, and she's a part of a trio now at this point. Nothing special. I don't particularly care about Su Yung. I don't give a shit what the hell they're doing with that. But the end match, the very end, the main event, actually had Tommy Dreamer and Ace Austin going at it one-on-one for the opportunity for Tommy Dreamer to join into a triple threat match between Christian Cage and Ace Austin. So Tommy Dreamer unfortunately lost this match by an Ace's fold by Ace Austin after a distraction from Madman Fulton. Unfortunately, the match was good, but the distraction kind of weakened the win a little bit. I don't know if they're going to stick with a one-on-one match between Christian Cage and Ace Austin, but that's to be seen at this point. Overall, though, I'm not too disappointed with the episode. I think it was a slight improvement from what I've seen the last couple of weeks. But to be quite frank with you guys, the quality is not as good as it used to. I mean, back in 2018, even 2017, the quality was way better than this. Fuck, even when Tessa Blanchard was there, the wrestling was way better. A lot of good, entertaining characters. It was actually a lot more fun to watch. Now, at this point, unless you add in guys from New Japan Wrestling, you get guys from AEW, the show is just a flat line. There's nothing to it. There's no heartbeat to it. It just seems like they are falling flat on their face week after week, and it just doesn't seem all that worth anybody's time. Again, I do have to say this was an improvement compared to the previous episodes I have seen and reviewed with you guys, but they still need a lot of work to even get to the level I even think they were at during 2018 when Tessa Blanchard, Sami Callihan had Ohio versus everything. I just think they had a lot better characters, a lot of way better creativity within their product. But right now they just seem like they're kind of just stuck. They're very stale creatively, and that's where their major issue lies. I don't think they got terrible talent. I just think that the creative side is not really helping the promotion out in giving people an interest to watch the show. Now, there might be some people that disagree with me, and if that's the case, then I would have to say you're a diehard Impact Wrestling fan, and you're just not having an open mind to criticism. But personally, I think that the show is not a terrible show. I just think that this show needs a lot of work to get better to where they were in 2018, because I remember back in 2018, they had some outrageous matches on Impact. They had some great pay-per-views. But right now, it's just whatever. I mean, outside of what they did with Kenny Omega and Rich Swann, Eric Young being champion was kind of cool. I like what they're doing with Eric Young. I think him with Violent by Design is an excellent faction he's got. I think that they did them wrong by making them lose the tag team titles to the Good Brothers. I think that was a load of shit. I didn't particularly like that at all. I just feel that there's a little bit of improvement that needs to be made, especially creatively. Wrestling-wise is a little stale too, but I don't think it's a terrible show. I mean, God help us. I mean, if I had to watch Monday Night Raw, I think I'd have to pull my hair out of my head and glue my eyes shut just so I wouldn't have to look at that shit. But anyway, guys, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below, and I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you guys again for watching. And have a great night, guys. I'll speak to you again soon about AEW Dynamite. And hopefully that's a good show. I'd imagine it is. So I will speak to you guys in a couple hours. Speak to you later. Bye.